to working folk like you and me, and Dr. Cornel West will be there, the brilliant philosopher and activist who never stops fighting for justice and speaking truth to power and to the powerless for that matter. So this isn't just another conference. This is where ideas get tested, where the conversations that shape our future begin. Multiple plenary sessions, dynamic speakers, real talk about the issues that impact our communities, and then some good food and a live band. Saturday, October 25th, LA Trade Tech, Left Coast Farm. The event is free and open to the public, but you must register at our KBLA1580.com website, where you can also peep the plenary topics. The future belongs to those who show up and engage. So don't just think about change, be part of the conversation that creates it. The Left Coast Forum is brought to you by the LA Progressive, the Empowerment Congress, Community Coalition, Partnership for Growth LA, Southwest Voter Registration Education Project, LA Care Health Plan, United Teachers Los Angeles, Black Progressive Action Coalition, St. John's Community Health, the National Lawyers Guild, the Weingart Foundation, and more. Space is limited, so if I were you, I'd register right now at KBLA1580.com. Your voice matters, your presence matters. We'll see you there.
First things first.
First things first, it's the DU General, Money D. I'ma put you up on the schedule, 6 to 9, 8 weekdays, not 2 and 7. Let's go. We got a lot to talk about, so much to pedal through. Unapologetically progressive. Tune to KBLA 1580 to get the mess. We're your ancestors' favorite radio station. First black on talk radio, left side of the nation. Me and Dominique DePrima go way back. Tap smiling, making sure the station stays black. Discussing all the issues in our community. We're hosted black and brown and others find unity. So let's talk about it. Maybe we can improve it. Digital underground, always down with the move. So we tune in. The first things first with the queen of Black Talk Radio, Dominique DePrima. Go sis.
First things first.
KBLA Talk 1580. Good morning. Good morning and God bless. I'm Dominique DePrima. The show is called First Things First, and my first thing today and every day is giving thanks to God, giving praises to the Most High, and asking for blessings, asking for the blessings of the ancestors and the elders. And let's go. Let's get shot out of a cannon today, because we got a lot to talk about and a lot to do. Okay. It is a Wealth Building Wednesday. So the way the show goes on Wednesdays, hour 1, we look local. Hour 2, we go national, international, and beyond. But we kick it off giving love, giving the spotlight to a Black-owned, BIPOC-owned, small business, socially innovative business. You know, we want the local ones that we try to keep them alive when they have to compete with Amazon and all that. So we do that. And then hour 3, we do a deep dive on a topic of interest, a person of interest, or both. Today we'll be talking with Almeda Cooper, and she is part of the Moms Clean Air Force. So we're talking about environmental justice. So we got a lot on our plate and a lot on our agenda, but we are starting off strong, my friends. I'm so happy to have with me in studio a teacher, activist, and the first woman of color in the history of the United Teachers of Los Angeles to serve as president of that union. She's been an educator for 28 years at both elementary and middle school levels, most recently at Mesa Elementary School, Angeles Mesa. Before being elected president. She's also unapologetically outspoken, my favorite type of woman, Cecily Myart-Cruz. Good morning.
Good morning, Dominique.
How are you today?
I am well. I think you started us off right, giving praises to God. So that's the tempo we need to have.
And I think when you are unapologetically outspoken and taking stances like you do, like I do, my best to do.
Yes.
We need God.
Absolutely.
Like,
we have to have that on our side.
Yeah. Without God, it's a whole mess.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. So you are part of the amazing Left Coast Forum. And it's one of the reasons I'm so excited about this thing on Saturday the 25th is just the dynamic. I was going to say women, but everyone's included.
Absolutely.
The dynamic everyone, and especially women, that are going to be there.
For sure. For sure.
So Tavis says it's not a conference. It's more like an emergency meeting, kind of. Because the Left Coast Forum is something that was around for a long time, then it went away.
Yes.
A little before the pandemic. Now it's back, but it feels different this time, doesn't it?
Yes, because I think we're in a moment now of crisis in our nation. And so having real progressives actually putting down what's at stake, but also what we can do. So action steps forward. And I think that is super important in the urgency of now.
Yeah, I think it is too, because otherwise we can go to town halls and discussions and panels and come away feeling actually more depressed because, oh, that was so amazing, but what came out of it?
Absolutely. And I think that's where we're suffering in this country with a, two-party political system where we're like, okay, well, yeah, but okay.
Yeah.
And then exactly what you said, we go, we hear something, we feel demoralized, and then what is the next steps? And I think for us, I mean, at least for myself, looking at our national unions, looking at our state unions, and looking at us locally, like we have to have a fight back and fight forward moment. And this is now. So the Left Coast Forum really provides a venue where we can come together. But also we need action steps because we have to get out into the streets in a way like no other time. Well, the civil rights movement.
Yeah. And right. Maybe Civil War. I mean, but I look at you as a real progressive because you take bold stances. And to me, being a progressive doesn't just mean, oh, I want progress or I want good for all. It means being willing to be out in front, taking bold positions that someone that's maybe a liberal or a corporate Democrat would be afraid to do because they might upset their sponsors or their donors. You know what I mean? And I think the reason I point that out is because I feel like it kind of got trendy for a while to just say you were progressive and then everyone was saying it. So there is this.
So it means it's not.
It's like they're progressive posers. That's what I call them.
Okay. I think, you put it in the room, the corporate Democrats that take money. And I think, when I'm looking at the sign that says unapologetically progressive, right? Actually saying what you mean and meaning what you say. And I think that the stances that we take in United Teachers Los Angeles, the stances I take personally, I'm really calling to mind our ancestors, people like Shirley Chisholm, right? Assata Shakur, like, saying unbought and unbossed. We're not going to take corporate money. We're actually going to do these things and be grassroots about it because we have to be on the ground. And if we're not building that political savvy, really building the infrastructure, then what are we really doing? And I think this is the time, this Left Coast Forum, this radio show, Tavis, you speaking, Dr. Molina, like speaking truth to power, that's where it's at. And we have to come around, the fake news and really what I call, and I tell my members all the time, FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. That drives a wedge into anything that you're doing. If I'm believing this over here, I look at our school district when they say they have no money for raises, and you're like, but you're sitting on $5.03 billion. So which is it? You either have no money or you do, but you don't have the priorities to put it into the classroom.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I say every day, almost every day, I try to say it every day on this show, that we have to make a choice right now in this MAGA era of
Yes.
really authoritarianism. I would say fascism.
Yes.
That we have to make a choice every day to be brave. But I feel like you've been doing that, and I'm not just blowing smoke. I feel like you've been doing that before this era. So what is it that you wake up and tell yourself, or what is it that you know makes you able to do that? Because I'm sure you got to have people gunning for you all the time. Even the fact that you just shouted out Asada Shakur, most people in the kind of position you're in would never be brave enough to lift her up.
We have to, because we have nothing to lose but our chains. But that is, that's how I feel. Those are the ancestors that I call on for strength and guidance. I look at you. I look at Dr. Molina. That's where I'm drawing strength and purpose. Yeah, they're gunning for me, but I also have a son who's a high schooler and in the LA Unified School District, and I want a better world for him. I want a better world for every single child that is out here. I mean, I put my money where my mouth is, in the sense of I have to be brave. I have to be bold. I mean, right after this show, every day I do the crossing guard. People don't know who I am. I just do it and I love it at the school. And
just always the same school or a different
yes,
school? Really?
Where my son goes.
That's hilarious.
So no one knows what I do, but I do it. And I do it because I care about the students at the school. I also care about safety. And if I can get people to get off their phones and actually pay attention to stop signs, and I have a big voice and I can make them stop, then I'm going to do it. So from that to everything that I do on behalf of students, but also our community. Our community has had decades of disinvestments, and it's time to actually turn those tables and actually put real investments into the community and into our workforce.
You must learn a lot too, being at the crossing guard. I mean, just the
Oh,
way
yeah.
people talk, probably the way they treat you.
Yeah. My son says, Mom, remember, that's not your real job.
Oh, because you're doing too much as a crossing guard, huh?
I'm talking to people. I'm
Yes,
telling
ma'am.
you, go diagonal. I'm telling you to go straight. I'm saying, wait. And, my superpower is that I know names and faces. So I do surprise the kids, like, she knows my name.
That's
Like, yeah,
hilarious.
I know your name.
I love that though, because I think it's probably easy when you are in a high level management position to sort of lose touch with what's going on with everyday students, everyday parents, and everyday crossing guards.
Right. The school is 6 through 12. So I get to see middle school kids all the way to high school kids. And I do feel like it keeps me grounded on what's going on. I'm hearing the conversations. They're asking me questions, and so forth, especially like when the wildfires happen, like, why is our school not closed? Can't you, do you know anyone in the school district that can get our school closed? And it's like, in my mind, I'm like, yeah, I do. And, you don't know, we're pressing him to close the schools, but that didn't happen the way that it actually should have. And that's another story for another day, but true enough.
Out of safety.
Yeah. I mean, when you have rapid wildfires and you have the embers and the ash that was in the air, I mean, it covered our cars all the way over on this side.
Yes.
And, kids are breathing in and out ashes and things like that, and eyes burning. We did slam on the school district and the superintendent to actually close the schools. Like, why were we wasting time? And at the end of the day, they closed the schools for one day. And no, the schools should have been closed for, when we said, Wednesday through Friday, and then, evaluate. But waiting until the end of the day is not good for anyone. It's good for you on a PR level, I suppose, but taking abundance of caution for our most marginalized students, should never be a second thought. And that's where you call the governor and say, hold harmless. There's things you can do. It's about how progressive you're going to be, how bold you're going to be to do that.
Yeah, I think that's right. I mean, I want to leave the house, and I don't live in the Palisades
Exactly.
or in Altadena.
Right.
I live in LA.
Right.
Right. And yeah, I think that's right. And of course, when you talk about children, they're more vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why they have you, Cecily Myart-Cruz. Someone's got to speak up for the kids and the teachers. We are talking progressivism. What is our role? What should we be doing? What are those real action steps? We've got No Kings coming up. We've got the Left Coast Forum coming up. And I know you've got a thing or two on our schedule that you can share. All that straight ahead on KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominic DePrima when we come forward.
Hello, KBLA listeners. This is Dr. Paul Wallace. I want to discuss a type of eczema called atopic dermatitis, which is often misdiagnosed in Black children and adults. Atopic dermatitis is an autoimmune disorder that can be accompanied by food allergies, hay fever, and asthma. This rash targets the inner arms, behind the knees, and face, but can go all over the body. It causes excessive dryness and 24/7 itching. It's the scratching and steroid use that leads to permanent scarring. I'm enrolling patients in a new clinical research study focused on better treatment options for atopic dermatitis. Of course, your medication and travel reimbursements are provided. To see if you qualify, visit dermstudies.com or call us at 323-296-0048. That's 323-296-0048. There's nothing worse than itching. Let's take the next step in controlling this problem.
At Charmin, we heard you shouldn't talk about going to the bathroom in public, so we decided to sing about it.
Light a candle, pour some wine. Grab a roll, the soft kind for a little me time. Charmin Ultra Soft Smooth Tear. Wavy edges for my rear. So let the softness caress your soul. Just relax, you're on a roll. Let her rip. Charmin Ultra Soft Smooth Tear.
Charmin Ultra Soft Smooth Tear has the same softness you love, now with wavy edges that tear better than the leading one-ply brand. Enjoy the go with Charmin.
Tavis Smiley with a final word here about the upcoming Left Coast Forum on Saturday, October 25th at LA Trade Tech. As you know by now, our major keynoters include Professor Richard Wolff and Dr. Cornel West. LA Mayor Karen Bass will be there as well. But listen to some of these plenaries: fighting for Black students and educational equity, resilience under Trumpism, how to stay sane under fascism, the battle for democracy, what's at stake in 2026, healthcare under attack, fighting Trump's cuts, and building patient power from seed to system, building a local food economy in South LA, theater as a force for change, voices from Palestine. The Constitution is not self-reinforcing, racism on the left, building communities of care, federal changes and their impact on healthcare in LA County, Committee for the First Amendment, and more. The Left Coast Forum is brought to you by the LA Progressive, the Empowerment Congress, Community Coalition, Partnership for Growth LA, Southwest Voter Registration Education Project, LA Care Health Plan, United Teachers Los Angeles, Black Progressive Action Coalition, St. John's Community Health, the National Lawyers Guild, the Weingart Foundation, and more. Space is limited, so if I were you, I'd register right now at KBLA1580.com. That's KBLA1580.com. Your voice matters. Your presence matters. We'll see you there.
Your ancestors' favorite radio station, and your favorite morning show host. Let's get back to Dominic DePrima right now.
Back to me, back to Cecily Myart-Cruz, back to all of y'all progressives. By the way, if you want to comment and you're too shy to call, or I found Cecily, that a lot of people are at work and they ain't supposed to be on their phones calling KBLA.
Right.
So they go into the YouTube chat. I'm sure there are no teachers there.
Everyone's getting up right now, heading into work.
Right. They go into YouTube and they get in the comment section and have a whole conversation. So you're invited to do that. It's at KBLA 1580 on YouTube. And we're going to see what they're talking about. I feel like that people one of the things that helps me right now is looking at examples of people doing stuff. And that's one of the reasons I am excited about the Left Coast Forum, which is Saturday, the 25th of October at Trade Tech.
Yes.
There's going to be a lot of little panel discussions in classrooms, and then big convenings in the courtyard areas, and food and music and all that good stuff. So thank you for Paul in the chat says I told on them for saying they were in the chat at work. But thank you for stepping up and supporting this thing.
Absolutely. Anytime KBLA, Tavis, you, Melina call on us, it's our duty to step up and step in and really highlight all the good. And I'm really, really proud and excited that our students are going to be the ones doing our panel and really moderating what's happening. If you would like to follow our students who are, kicking butt all over town, that's on Instagram, LA_students deserve. Big shout outs to the students that are just rocking it with all the different chapters at different schools. But really, the thing that they have really they've pushed so many issues that have been able to see the light of day is really our Black Student Achievement Program. And BSAP, as it's known, is celebrating 5 years.
Wow, I didn't realize it had been that long. But yeah, I guess it was 2020.
Yeah.
But I kind of thought it was going away. I thought that the Black Student Achievement program had been All Lives Mattered.
Yes, it had. I think it's like Parents Defending Virginia Education or something wrote to the school district and said, we're inquiring about BSAP. And then all of a sudden our school district just straight ASAP'd them. All students matter. And, in this time, in this era, it's so important to actually say what we mean. And the students said, and the union has backed that up, and we say it very proudly, the Black Student Achievement Program. We are in contract bargaining. In our bargaining proposal, we have putting more money and supports into the Black Student Achievement Program, because that is important. And every single student that has come in front of our school board and our superintendent and district officials have said, put the B back into BSAP. We're not letting it drop, not on our watch. It's the Black Student Achievement Program because decades of disinvestment have been in the Black community. The Black community has been absolutely marginalized, and we are here. We're saying absolutely not. And our union is backing it up by even putting a Black Student Achievement Program proposal. And we are not going to back off of those proposals because they are too important, not only to our students, but to the community writ large.
That's amazing. I've been really awed to see that because I talked to a bunch of Students Deserve kids. I know how hard they fought for that program, and I know how much it's helping them.
Yes.
It's helping them to go see colleges, to get that counseling, to know what their options are. And when it's so frustrating to me to hear people complaining about this achievement gap, but then when someone wants to do something to fix it, they hurry and shut it down.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and I think that's what we're seeing all over, right? When you're talking about truth in education and so forth and so on, just because someone is inquiring, I don't care. How about inquiring in your own city or state? Here, leave LA alone, especially with what students and parents of Black students have had to go through over and over. You're absolutely right. When students have the chance to be in a Black Student Achievement Program. They're seeing the counselors, the mental health professionals. Students are saying, we want to see folks that look like us. We want to be affirmed, and we want to be, we want our lived experience taken into consideration. Who am I? Who is the superintendent or anyone to say that a lived experience of a Black student in LA should not matter?
Yeah. And you know, I just thought the superintendent indicated that he was going to acquiesce to those folks. And I just thought he would automatically prevail, but I see I was wrong about that.
Yeah.
Pound.
Right.
I love that too, because I do know that it's made a difference just from the testimonials that, you know, oh, the field trips and going to visit schools and things, you know, that most resourced kids, middle class kids and upper middle class kids automatically have.
That's right.
And when our children have them, lo and behold, they do better.
Yes. I mean, if LA Unified acted like a private institution, right? Lowering class sizes to 10 and 12, then you'd see scores. And I'm not I'm not someone who is about those test scores, because, you know, they're rooted in racist values. But you see test scores go up when students see folks who look like them. They are coming to school. When you have arts, music, dance, drama, where folks can actually express themselves, like with what happened with Prop 28, those are things that really drive student achievement.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if it wasn't for my drama class, I probably would have cut a lot more school.
Right.
You know what I mean? That was the fun part.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because there was something that brought you in.
Yeah.
And that's a gateway to all of the other, you know, things that are happening at the school, having the, you know, going to world languages. But you just brought up our students through the Black Student Achievement Program are going to visit HBCUs. When have we heard of this? Actually going to HBCUs, actually being able to be on the ground and being immersed and going to different ones so that they have an idea of what they would like to do as they go forward. I think that is absolutely what our students need. And that really lights a fire under myself to continue as leading this union to do right by our students, especially our Black students, our most marginalized students, our queer students, our students of color, to really hone in on that. That is our job. And as an educator, that is our duty of care.
We're talking with Cecily Myart-Cruz. We're talking Left Coast Forum and all things progressive. I'm Dominique DePrima for KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
I'm Esther Dillard with BIN News Now. Black New York Attorney General Letitia James is showing her support for New York City Democratic mayoral nominee Zohran Mamdani.
And I will not bow. I will not break. I will not bend.
James made her first public appearance Monday night. While she did not directly mention Trump or the indictment, she alluded to it with the remark, "I fear no man." James currently faces charges of bank fraud and making false statements to a financial institution. The Young Republican National Federation is calling for some of its members to resign after a leak of a group chat. Politico reports individuals referred to Black people as monkeys and mused about putting their political opponents in gas chambers. And California Governor Gavin Newsom is approving a slavery reparations agency. This comes 5 years after officials established a task force to study and develop reparations proposals for Black Americans. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Escape the confines of the city for the expansive beauty of the Santa Ynez Valley with a short 2-hour drive up the coast. Let Chumash Casino Resort be your destination getaway. Welcome to freedom. Go to chumashcasino.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Luka Doncic is making his preseason debut with the Lakers tonight in Phoenix. Doncic sat out the Lakers' first 3 preseason games. Lakers fans will get their first glimpse of a new-look Doncic, who has slimmed down significantly after going through a diet and conditioning program in the offseason. 7 p.m. tip-off tonight on Spectrum Sportsnet. The Rams are unsure if wide receiver Puka Nacua will be available for next Sunday's game against Jacksonville in London. Nacua suffered a sprained ankle in the first quarter of the Rams' win at Baltimore on Sunday. Nacua leads the NFL with 64 catches. The Associated Press Top 25 preseason women's college basketball poll is out. UCLA is in the top 5 at number 3. Also in the top 5, UConn, the defending national champs, South Carolina, Texas, and LSU. First game for UCLA is November 3rd against San Diego State. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Established in 2020 during a time of deep racial unrest across our state and country, the Black Freedom Fund was created to make sure that leaders and organizations working to support Black communities and build power have the resources they need to stay in the fight for the long haul. We believe that those closest to the issues impacting our communities know best how to solve them. That's why in just the last 5 years, we've granted more than $45 million to over 200 grassroots organizations across California. That is the largest collective investment in Black organizing in history, and we're just getting started. We are clear-eyed and committed, more now than ever, to our people, our power, and our possibility. Join us in creating a future where Black people harness their full power to shape their lives and realize a just world for all. Learn more at fundblackfreedom.org. That's fundblackfreedom.org. The Black Freedom Fund is proud to sponsor Conversation Live Altadena Rising with James Farr on KBLA Talk 1580.
Donald Trump has all but declared war on California, sending in the National Guard, blocking disaster relief, and cutting funds to our colleges. And now, he and Texas Republicans are trying to rig the next election by stealing congressional seats from Black voters in states like Texas.
They want to rig these elections, and they want the power that gerrymandering provides.
Seriously, look it up. But Prop 50 is how we fight back. It gives Californians the power to fight fire with fire and beat Trump at his own game. Prop 50 creates temporary emergency congressional maps that level the playing field and protect the power of Black votes. Not just in California, but across the country. Your vote matters, and the whole country is counting on California to lead. So use your vote to protect our power, our history, and our future. Vote yes on Prop 50 by November 4th. Ad paid for by Yes on 50, the Election Rigging Response Act, Governor Newsom's Ballot Measure Committee, Ad Committee's top funders, HMP for Prop 50, and Fund for Policy Reform.
Hey, KBLA 1580 delegation, your health matters to us. We know that information is power, especially when it comes to prevention and treatment. That's why we're proud to introduce the brand new KBLA Health and Wellness Hub. This online space is built just for you, connecting our community to trusted health resources, culturally relevant care, and even access to diverse clinical trials and emerging therapies. Whether you're looking for information on common conditions, mental health support, or just want to stay on top of your wellness journey, we got you. And the best part, it's all on our website at kbla1580.com. Accessible, empowering, community-focused. So just go to kbla1580.com and click on the Health and Wellness Hub icon, because knowledge is power and your health is everything. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DePrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
And we are talking, well, that's what we do around here. That's why we call it Talk Radio. Cecily Myart-Cruz is here. She's the president of UTLA, United Teachers of Los Angeles. You guys are back at the bargaining table. I feel like these contracts come up so frequently, but I guess that's how it works.
That's how it works.
This is what I'm puzzled by. How is healthcare on the table? Isn't that sort of a staple for teachers?
We think it's a staple. Everyone deserves healthcare. Obviously, especially now, healthcare is a human right, and there's no denying that. But our superintendent would like to cut our healthcare, not only actives but also retirees.
How can
And
you
so
cut healthcare for people that already served their time and that was the deal they made, and now they're retired?
these are very good questions, and that is the reason why all of the unions inside of LA Unified School District have come together. We sit at one table, which is separate. It's a separate table from our contract bargaining, and mostly all of the unions are at contract bargaining as well. So you're bargaining all these contracts, offering them 2% and or 4%, and bargaining healthcare all together with all the 8 unions. And so we're coming together. We're united. We are not backtracking on healthcare because our members and our retirees deserve the healthcare that was promised to them. So we are not backing down. On November the 6th, we will have 5 regional rallies that it's a united front of all the unions. Will be down at the Beaudry headquarters, taking it right to the superintendent. Will be down, that's for North, Central, and East. And then in the South, we'll be at Firestone and Atlantic. Down in the West Side, we'll be at Webster Middle School. Down in the Valley, we'll be at Haynes Elementary, which is where the district office is. And in the Harbor, we'll be down at Harry Bridges Elementary or Span School.
You're going to be outside.
Oh, we outside.
We outside.
We're outside.
I mean, and we expect that from the teachers union. One of the things that ever since I've been in LA, teachers have always had to stand up for, their contracts and such. And I know LA teachers have a better deal than teachers in a lot of other cities and states because of that. Mm-hmm. But still, I mean, health care is basic and expensive. Mm-hmm. And if you're talking about retirees, it sounds like you're reneging on a deal that was already made.
Absolutely. And that's the piece that is driving all of us, that, you can't renege. But also, healthcare is a human right. With all of the things happening, I mean, we have members that have cancer right now that are fighting cancer. And you mean to tell me you're going to take their healthcare away from them? We have parents whose child has degenerative, disease, and you're going to take their health care. Give me a break. So all of the unions are standing strong together, and we're saying not on our watch. Absolutely not. And if the superintendent can definitely have health care, then yeah, so should we.
Sounds like the Congress and the people. But I digress, and I think this is an example of where unions, we can, to some degree, count on unions to take up progressive causes like healthcare. And in some sense, I always feel that helps people, even people who aren't in unions, because it normalizes what we're supposed to have, i.e. healthcare.
Absolutely.
I.e., raise the wage. When we went for the Fight for 15,
sure,
most union members were not fighting for themselves to get $15 an hour, because most of them make more than that. But it helped everyone else that wasn't in the unions. And so that's why I think it's important for people to realize that the union movement does impact everyone, even if you're not in a bargaining unit.
Absolutely. It raises the temperature, but also raises the consciousness. And so when we're talking about, the for-profit folks, we have to make sure that we are always saying that people over profit And we're also saying workers over billionaires, the people over billionaires, our communities, our schools, our students over billionaires. Because in this country, folks are just fascinated with billionaires. I want to be fascinated by the people. I want to see the people rising up. I want to see a grassroots movement really happening. And we do that when we get into coalition like the Left Coast Forum. We get into coalition like We Are California. We get into coalition like the United Front and Mayday Strong Coalition. Folks have to wake up. This is the time. The time is now to really be unapologetic in doing the real work and being out here. You reference No Kings. We're going to be out there at No Kings. We're going to start at Beaudry, taking it to the district and going down by the Weston Bonaventure and then on to Grant Park, because it's important to be able to be really talking about what is necessary and what we need in this time. And so I'm really excited with this No Kings Day rally, moving on to our November 6th all action rally, especially on healthcare, but then getting to our contract. You know, we're at the table and the district has stalled and stalled.
When does that contract run out?
Oh, that contract is run out June 30th, 2025.
Oh, so you're working on your old contract?
Yes.
Or without a contract, technically?
Yes, it's the old or not a contract, but we've been bargaining since last March and March of 25. And here we are. It's expired and they have brought crumbs to the table. We have 150 member bargaining team, and they're seeing the crumbs that the district is putting out. And I'm sorry, our educators are worth more than crumbs, and we will not settle for crumbs, especially when we're talking about bargaining for the common good, talking about proposals like our BSAP, our greening, our schools, our housing, talking about community schools, and really talking about immigrant supports, especially now, and our LGBTQIA. So we're not backing down from any of those proposals. We're standing straight up, and we are taking it right to the district.
Yep. I'm not at all surprised by that. When you say right now, and you talk about LGBTQ students, the targeting of trans students in particular by this administration.
Yes.
And what I see as a backlash, just like we're having a revival of anti-Blackness in this country, the backlash.
It never left.
Right. Now it's just like, it's real trendy right now.
Yes.
How do you see that impacting you guys at the LAUSD? You know, particularly the targeting of LGBT students.
Not only students, but our educators
Really?
that have been doxxed. Yes, we have educators that have been doxxed by this administration. But the Supreme Court judgment that came down, Mahmoud versus Taylor, that came down in late June, we knew that would have ramifications if our school district did put out something. And of course they did. They gave guidance and said, oh, you can opt out of, education, much like what they did with BSAP. Oh, no, these are not BSAP. This is ASAP. And we're saying, no, the ACLU gave absolute guidance. This is what you do. Education is for everyone and all are welcome here. And so if we take that motto, then why are we picking and choosing? Because a parent could say, well, I don't want this MLK book or Rosa Parks or, whatever, Booker T. Washington book or George Washington Carver. I don't want to hear about the Black inventors. No, you don't get to pick and choose education. Just like, the red herring that's out. Oh, everyone's being taught critical race theory. Critical race theory is in law school. It's not in our classrooms, but someone has a dog whistle, they blow it, And then all of a sudden it's like, oh no, we can't do that. And it's like, it never was there. But if education is for all, and we are talking about our most marginalized in any classroom in America, the most marginalized in the LGBTQIA family is the trans folks. And we have to talk about our trans youth, our trans educators. They also need to be seen. People like Marsha P. Pay It No Mind Johnson and Sylvia Rivera, they didn't see themselves represented. So they were out in the streets protesting. And so that's what we need to, that's the standard bearer. And we must be unapologetic about speaking on the most marginalized of us.
Yeah, and I think people don't even realize it's such a tiny percentage of the kids and teachers. It's just, it's so, I mean, the bullying, the level of bullying that you're talking about when you select such a teensy group and target them, it's just heartbreaking. I'm also reading that the Trump administration canceled this big grant for sex education in California because they say we have radical gender ideology. So does that mean our kids are going to not have sex education? They'll just be like walking around ignorant, more ignorant.
Exactly. I mean, let's, go into the Christian nationalist things. I think I saw some documentary, Shiny Happy People or something like that, which really kind of goes into, let's have abstinence training or whatever. It's like folks need to know what is happening to their bodies, so forth and so on. But it's by permission. So, in fifth grade, when there's the sex education talk, parents get a permission slip to say,
well,
me too, because I was a fifth grade teacher at one time as well. And we had to send out the permission slips. And then, that's how you knew who can speak on that. If the parent decided, no, I don't want my kid to hear that, they went somewhere else and had, their day of learning in someone else's class. It's by permission. We're not just talking about open things. It's by permission. So if parents are like, I want to have a say, you do.
Right. That's always how they do misinformation.
Right.
They tell you a thing is a thing that isn't a thing. So that's why we have to look into it ourselves. But I'm glad you clarified that. I was appalled to see that because it also impacts homeless shelters and juvenile justice centers where I think kids need to know about their bodies.
Absolutely.
Probably even more than other kids. Cecily Myart-Cruz is here. I knew you'd tell us about something. November 6th, rallies regionally is going to be on. We're going to keep this conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
A safe place to go loud. A great place for progressive politics. KBLA Talk 1580.
Donald Trump has all but declared war on California, sending in a National Guard, blocking disaster relief, and cutting funds to our colleges. And now, he and Texas Republicans are trying to rig the next election by stealing congressional seats from black voters in states like Texas.
They want to rig these elections, and they want the power that gerrymandering provides.
Seriously, look it up. But Prop 50 is how we fight back. It gives Californians the power to fight fire with fire and beat Trump at his own game. Prop 50 creates temporary emergency congressional maps that level the playing field and protect the power of black votes. Not just in California, but across the country. Your vote matters, and the whole country is counting on California to lead. So use your vote to protect our power, our history, and our future. Vote yes on Prop 50 by November 4th. Ad paid for by Yes on 50, the Election Rigging Response Act, Governor Newsom's Ballot Measure Committee, Ad Committee's top funders, HMP for Prop 50, and Fund for Policy Reform.
I found out that one of my players was vaping, and I said, hey, right now it's time to be honest with me. He said almost everybody in my team was vaping. The next day, all the parents came in. I said, how many of you guys think that your kids are vaping? Not one of them raised their hand. There's a joint fight to make something better. We don't sit back and let it happen.
Coach Sanchez is exposing Big Tobacco's playbook. Learn how he and other Californians are beating big tobacco at undo.org.
When you turn to the Employment Development Department, we'll help you get there. Whether it's support for you and your family while you find a new job, or the resources to focus on your recovery after illness or injury, we can help you move forward. From support while you bond with your newborn, to helping serve your family while your partner serves our country. Your EDD. We'll help you get there. For more information, visit edd.ca.gov.
Nearly 7 million Americans aged 65 and older are living with Alzheimer's disease or AD. But did you know that Black adults aged 65 and older are twice as likely as white adults to develop AD? You may be able to reduce your risk by managing conditions like diabetes and high blood pressure, being physically active, eating healthy, and exercising your mind. To learn more about AD, the importance of early diagnosis and intervention, and a potential treatment option, visit treatalzearly.com. That's treatalzearly.com. This message is brought to you by AZI.
Broadcasting live from Leimert Park, USA. Welcome back to your home for unapologetically progressive radio, KBLA Talk 1580.
Oh yeah, they're marching. They're marching. United Teachers of Los Angeles on the march. Cecily Myart-Cruz is here with us. UTLA, one of the sponsors of the Left Coast Forum. You can come. It is the 25th of this month. And we have somebody here in the YouTube chat asking, will we be able to speak freely? Prester John, how does the Left Coast Forum sponsor one of them, Partnership for Growth, factor into speaking frankly about genocide in Gaza? This is the Left Coast Forum. It's a progressive forum. We have a panel on Gaza. I'm quite sure it'll be rather frank. Have you ever read the LA Progressive? Because I think that would answer your question. Go to laprogressive.com and see the articles you find there.
Yes.
Yeah. And also, I mean, Pastor Edward Anderson leads the part that,
Yeah, Eddie. Pastor
yeah,
Eddie.
and he's very outspoken.
Very much so.
On just about everything. So here we are in this MAGA moment. And one of the things I was complaining about, I'll be honest, during the election season was the fact that there's a vein of folks in the union movement that moved towards Trump. I mean, I was shocked to see how many union members across the country, I'm not saying UTLA, but across the country backed Trump. Is that still holding up, do you think, within the union movement? Or are people on the FAFO page where they're saying, wow, this man really is trying to dismantle our unions?
Yeah, I think you'll find Republicans and MAGAs, folks everywhere. And I think in this moment, for us in UTLA, I think, we've been really good about saying we have a duty of care. And so whether you voted for him, didn't vote, or voted for Kamala, we're at a crossroads, especially with immigration, when they are kidnapping our people, kidnapping our kids. You have a duty of care. And that is the reason why we had community safe passage on the opening day, that we are not going quietly in the night. We have rapid response networks, and thank God for people like Chirla and El Rescate and Unión del Barrio and UTLA and others that have been really showing down in the harbor. They're out right now on harbor community patrols over at Terminal Island, taking license plates and running them and so forth. I mean, folks are actually doing stuff. And I think the things that we saw here and we're able to do here, President Stacey Davis Gates in Chicago Teachers Union, they've been able to do that. And with Mayor Brandon Johnson, who is just calling it what it is, fascism, tyranny, authoritarianism, like he's calling a thing. And I think that has been super refreshing to see what he's talking about, see how they're saying absolutely not, really reporting, like not only are we in a fascist state, but we are having the militarization of our community when you have an actual Black Hawk helicopter rappel ICE agents down and zip tie children. Absolutely not. And so we are, folks are, I saw people walking with their yoga mats, making a line saying, stay back, ICE, so forth. And so what we're seeing in this moment is that we're not having a FAFO moment. We're saying, no, we are not accepting this any further, and more people need to get onto this bandwagon. I think some folks are kind of stuck right now, like I think it's the flamingo that puts their head in the sand, like, if I can just wait for 2 more years, then we can do this. Like, he already said he's not trying to leave. So we have to do what people like in South Korea, all went to the streets. We've got to be in these movements. And even when it feels like it's demoralizing, we have to find joy in the struggle, and we have to act. So we've got to participate, and we can't sit idly by. And that's why we have, Prop 50 on the ballot, and we need to vote a resounding yes, that you cannot snatch, take away the Black community's vote on our watch. Absolutely not. We fought hard and long. Our ancestors fought for the things that we're seeing, our freedoms absolutely taken away. And we're not going to do that. We must stand up. We must be bold. We must be courageous and have that agitation in our spirit, get politically educated, read some books so that we know what to do.
Yeah, that's a great call to action. You want to give some contact information, or what do you want to leave us with this morning, Cecily Myart-Cruz?
You can get in contact with us at United Teachers Los Angeles, UTLA.net. If you want to find out more about what we're doing, go to our website. If you want to send me an email personally, you can go on the website. You can say UTLA President at UTLA.net. We're there for you. We want to see you out at these movements on November the 6th. Meet us at Beaudry. That's where we'll be. That's where I'll be standing up with Max Arias from SEIU Local 99, Maria Nichols from ALA Teamsters 2010, Adriana from the Teamsters 572, Chad from Teamsters 500. I think that's the building and trades. We also are standing in coalition. I am forgetting someone I know, and it's all going so fast, but all of the unions are standing together. CSEA is there. I'm looking around the room. I know I'm forgetting something, and somebody, but all the unions are standing together, and we're not going quietly into the night. We deserve our health care. Everyone deserves health care. And that's why Bernie Sanders has been talking about Medicare for all, universal health care for all, because it's a human right to have it. So here we go.
Me and Bernie been on this Medicare for all. Come on now.
Yes.
If we can afford it. It's more expensive to have people dying in the streets.
Absolutely.
Cecily Myart-Cruz, thank you so much for coming by. Thank you for sponsoring UTLA, sponsoring the Left Coast Forum, and I will see you there.
Yes, I'll see you there.
All right. We've got news, traffic, and sports right now. Then it's time for Wealth Building Wednesday, only right here.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Esther Dillard with BIN News Now. Black New York Attorney General Letitia James is showing her support for New York City Democratic mayoral nominee Zohran Mamdani.
And